can we take that heat and channel it to some college basketball futures? I think it's just Futures Friday, maybe we call it, because a lot of fun futures to get at here.
You want me to start?
Yeah, why don't you start? I got a couple I'm looking at over here that I like. What are you doing, Rod?
Well, I got a mega whale play because my model has this at minus 50,000.
Are you thinking of the same one I'm thinking?
Michigan State to not win the national championship? I'm just kidding. I loved when you see notable professionals giving out minus 15,000 plays, telling you there's still an edge.
Well,
because
I'll say this. There is a noted professional who loves giving out Purdue on the money line. I think Purdue not to win the national championship, which Circa has that here. Purdue not to win the national championship, which I would bet my entire life on, minus 985. Probably not actually going to get down on this.
What's your life worth?
I don't like laying that big a chalk, but it feels incredibly safe because this Purdue team, I mean, granted they got the win last night against the Minnesota Gophers, but there was a drunk guy walking around Circus Sports, just randomly comes up to me. He has some like weird cup of like random alcohol that clearly he brought in that he somehow got in, and he just comes up to me and he's like, Purdue's favored by 18. They're down 6. Now, Purdue did end up winning the game, but I don't know. I have no faith in this Purdue team. Zach Edey, very good player, but I want no part of them in the futures market, especially when that tournament starts. Now, maybe they won't get knocked out in the first round like they did last year, but I don't think they get that far. Like, they find ways to mess this up every year, and I want no part of it.
Minus 210 to miss the Final Four, and I think you may have laid down the greatest clip ever if Purdue wins the national championship.
I mean,
Sean, give up your life.
Clip this, send it to Zach Edey, tag Zach Edey. Zach Edey, I'm calling you out. I don't think you guys are winning the national championship. No part of them at plus 650. As far as teams up here on the board, Ryan, we've been talking about them on our podcast a bunch. Again, going hard college hoops on the Sports Gambling podcast there. Iowa State at 22-1. They've shown, our guy we do college basketball with, Colby Dant, going to be joining us final hour of this show. He was pointing out Iowa State has won some really nice road battles in tough spots in the same way we saw San Diego State do last year in the regular season on their way to making a run in the tournament. Those are certain things you want to kind of put in the back of your mind when you're going to be filling out your bracket, when you're going to be looking at firing on some futures. I mean, this Iowa State team, I faded them by taking Cincinnati earlier this week. They went into Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is not an easy place to get a win. Great win there. They have an incredible defense. Now, usually I'm scared of taking Iowa teams outside of Iowa, but the fact that this Iowa State team has gone on the road and gotten some quality wins in tough spots, that to me is something I'm going to be keeping an eye on and maybe getting a little futures action there with Iowa State at 22-1.
And it's always a great time to remember the 2020 rule. Just so much can be predicted from the teams in the pool of being in the top 20 adjusted offense and defensive efficiency in KenPom.
Yes.
It's kind of that,
remind people like some of the criteria when it comes to picking a national championship or even the Final Four.
Basically, the long and short of it is we don't often see teams that are outliers, teams with, and really, the championship quote contenders usually come from that pool of being both top 20 offense and defense. But really, you want to exclude the teams that are outside the top 50 in offense, outside the top 50 in defense, because you know how it works. There's going to be stretches. They're going to look like a more average team. And, I think I think the number is maybe 2 champions over the last 15 years fall outside that criteria. So pretty good way to limit your exposure. One team that kind of comes out maybe looking a little rosy, and I don't know how you feel about them. The coach has had success in the Final Four before, but Shaka Smart, Marquette, they're right on the outside of the offensive efficiency, and they're inside at 13 in defensive efficiency. They're plus 650 to make the Final Four right now. They are plus 2,700 to win it all. To me, the Final Four price strikes me as an interesting position. I think they're going to be a top seed. They're battle tested. We've seen them play well on the road at times, and like I said, Shaka, he is one of those coaches I tend to want to bet on come tournament time. I don't know if it's his energy or just the way his teams play. But yeah, Marquette would be a team I'd put a little investment. Any way to find, I just don't want to bet on the teams at the top of the board. And at this time of the year, you're probably going to get the same price when the tournament starts.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Maybe pull a couple of these out. Fire. What about anything from the conference? DraftKings also has conference winners. Anything jumping out at you on the conference winners market, Ryan?
Well, and this, I believe this is just regular season. So you don't
regular season champs, so not conference tournaments.
So you don't have the fun. Let's take this team to win the conference tournament, get in the dance. But some of these markets are completely blown, like UConn, like Purdue. But if we go to the Mountain West, Sean?
Yeah, Mountain West in particular. Yeah, because we're usually out here on Friday nights. And if you've been enjoying our show, which, again, thanks to everyone who's reached out, tons of kind words at Gambling Podcast. Appreciate all the positive feedback. We have been doing our show 9 o'clock Pacific on Friday nights. Looks like we're going to be bumping up to 6 o'clock Pacific moving forward. So keep an eye out next Friday, Ryan.
Yes.
Not this Friday. Obviously, we have to sleep after this show. But starting next week, stay tuned for the official schedule announcement. But looking like 9 o'clock East, 6 o'clock Pacific. But since we come out here for a lot of these late night Friday night stuff, have caught a lot of Mountain West games, have been betting a bunch of Mountain West games. And yeah, what's your take on the regular season Mountain West Conference winner? Because it's kind of interesting here at the top.
I think you just got to look at the schedule. They all kind of play, all these three big teams, like the big three of the Mountain West, we'll call them. At the top, they all play each other still. So you got Utah State at plus 135, San Diego State plus 210, New Mexico plus 350. I think you can scrub anyone else off the list. Utah State gets San Diego State and New Mexico at home. To me, that's the difference. It's a little chalky, but the odds should probably, and they have an advantage already in the loss column. So I would grab a piece of Utah State. Danny Sprinkle, they probably have the easiest schedule. Like I said, getting those big division foes at home. So, and it's fun to say Sprinkle. Danny Sprinkle.
And since this is positive, it is a dog, even if it's a little dog. Little yapper there. Utah State plus 135. You can sprinkle on Danny Sprinkle. I'm with you. As much as I like New Mexico and San Diego State as teams overall in the Mountain West, I think this is Utah State's to lose. Probably, to your point, should be like minus 110. I feel like plus 135, considering...
I'll have to crunch the numbers.
Yeah, I'll run my model on it. But considering they're, like you said, facing off against SDSU and New Mexico at home. And New Mexico, completely different team, home road. Obviously super tough to go in and get a win there. And San Diego State's been good. Not quite as elite as they were defensively as they were last year when they went on their epic run. But still could be a frisky tournament team. I mean, the Mountain West Conference Tournament, I'm already counting down the days to that because that's going to be a super fun game for sure.
John, real quick.
Yes.
One more, because you mentioned Iowa State earlier with the nice Final Four price. Baylor, also nice Final Four price, 8-1. Scott Drew, we still like him.
Yes.
Still battle tested.
Baylor, although... you're right. Baylor has looked really good in the Big 12, and their national championship price, they're 40-1, a little intriguing as well.